Hi guys, this is a pick a card reading for how are you evolving. So we have pile number 1, pile number 2, and pile number 3. You guys can take a second to pick which deck is calling to you or crystal, and the timestamps will be listed down below in the description box. All right, pile number 1, for those of you that have chosen the Gilded Tarot or this beautiful honey calcite. Man, I could not think of it. Honey calcite. This is going to be your guys' reading. So how is my pile number 1 evolving? How is my pile number 1 evolving? We have the Seven of Wands, the Queen of Wands, the Wheel of Fortune, Judgment, the Seven of Swords, the Four of Wands, and Justice. So for my pile number 1s, how I feel like you guys have been evolving is I'm getting this sense that you guys have had to work really hard to get where you are. So for a lot of you guys, you could have had a lot of obstacles and is still currently going through a lot of obstacles. I know that with the Seven of Wands here, a lot of times it's feeling like you need to defend and fight for what you want. A lot of times too, it's also having a higher perspective of things when perhaps other people don't. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have had to change your perspective on situations and things around you, because perhaps the way that you viewed reality or the way you viewed others, that it kind of came off more of a challenge for you than something that was beneficial. And I feel for a lot of you guys, maybe you've been playing it very small in your life because you've been around people who have told you maybe you're too much or you felt like you were just too much. There's definitely something here that I'm sensing, pile number 1, that you've had, like perhaps in the past your confidence has been lowered. You've been around people who have said and done things that very much impacted your own self-worth and who you are as a person. And I feel like that is something that is now starting to evolve over time. Some of you guys, you keep telling yourself, when is it my time? When is it my time? Because I feel like you guys have gone through a lot of just bad luck or a lot of just things that kept, it's almost like with Saturn, it feels like Saturn's in the way trying to teach you something of yourself. So I don't know if you guys are into astrology. If so, there's something definitely here about your Saturn, and I feel like it's teaching you lessons. So a lot of the times when we go through really difficult situations or when life seems to kick us when we're down, it's not just to punish us, even though it definitely feels like a punishment. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've gone through so much that you're like, I just can't take anymore. It's like, if I have to deal with any more drama or any more stress in my life, you just don't know how you're going to be able to cope with it. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've been around people who maybe acted like they had your best interest at heart and you believed them, and then later found out like they could have stolen from you. They could have robbed you in some way, whether that's emotionally, physically, mentally, even spiritually. Some of you guys have just felt like you, especially one person in particular in your life, has this, it just kind of feels like they could have taken something from you, left you feeling very devastated and desolate. I am getting that for the majority of my pile number 1s. You guys have had to learn about the darker side of humanity. Maybe you have had to deal with a lot of people that had mistreated you, that didn't have something very fair. And I think that, again, you've had to temper out your mood, the way you perceive people and the situations at large. So when we've just been wronged so many times in our life, it's very easy to become cynical. It's very easy to point the finger or blame other people when circumstances in life keep seeming to push us in. And it's almost like every time you turn around, there's always somebody talking bad behind your back or doing something bad. And I think it wore you down, but it wore you down to start to see yourself differently. Because when we have been wronged so many times by different people and just circumstances, we start to, it's almost like it's building up our resilience for life. It's forcing us to wake up, see things for what it is, to evolve past that circumstance and that situation, and realizing that not everything is against us. Not everything happens to us. It happens for us. And even if we can't seem to wrap our brains around it at that time, that doesn't mean that that's not true. So I feel that for a lot of you guys, what is making you evolve is their circumstances and the people around you is forcing you to take accountability for yourself. And I feel like this is where you guys are. It's almost as though pile number 1, you guys have gone through a lot of traumatic incidences in your life that has led you to this point in your life that you are starting to say, enough is enough. I don't want to deal with people or circumstances that's going to keep taking from me. So for a lot of you guys, perhaps growing up, you didn't really have a say. We weren't able to really have voices as children because it really wasn't safe for us to stand up against authority figures or people that were bigger than us. We could have had a lot of unfair just happen to us. And as we become adults, we still kind of carry around that child mentality of, oh, I can't speak up, or oh, I can't say no, or oh, I have to help people, right? Because that's the role that I was placed in as a child, was I shouldn't be selfish. I should always put others ahead of me. And so for a lot of you guys, because you've been around, and I feel like this has been a particular person, one exact person in your life that really could have shaped the way that you are now going to change. It's almost like this last individual that could have taken from you or done something bad to you just broke you down enough to say enough is enough. And it's almost as though for my pile number 1s, how you're evolving is you're starting to learn to set boundaries, and you're also starting to see where you begin and where others end. So you're not, because I feel like for some of you guys, you could have grown up with an enmeshment pattern, something that was like you could have been someone's therapist. You could have been like, always having to be the fixer, always having to be the person to fix everything. And you're kind of coming to that realization that, no, now it's time to put myself first. So a lot of times too, as I'm getting that for some of you guys, you're slowly building back up your self-confidence. You're slowly getting yourself back together again. And you might be starting to see people around you becoming more angry with you, pile number 1, because I'm getting this feeling that a lot of you guys, you just don't want to fight with people anymore. You're sick and tired of constantly trying to explain yourself and put yourself in these positions where you feel like you need to justify saying no, or you need to justify your actions or how you're coming across, because a lot of you guys, maybe you were afraid of what a particular person thought or how people think of you, and it's almost like you're now starting to come to the realization that you don't have to prove yourself to other people. Because I feel like you guys constantly gave to people and nobody really gave back in return, and so that depleted you, especially here with that Wheel of Fortune. It's like, it's the whole thing where people always say, well, and you hear this a lot, where people say, like, sometimes you have to remove certain people from your life so that you can gain back fortune, because if you would have these people in your life, they could block your blessings, or they could take from you because maybe you don't have proper boundaries set. So sometimes we have to eliminate certain people or certain circumstances in our life in order to gain that Wheel of Fortune. And I feel that for a lot of you guys that have chosen pile number 1, you are starting to realize who is and isn't meant to be in your life because of the circumstances that life has thrown your way. So you started to know, it's like, oh, bad events started happening to me. Who was there for me at that time when I needed it? And you're going to realize the people that were there for you and the people that aren't. And sometimes we just have people that expect us to be a certain way, and when we don't show up in the way that they like, they take offense to that. They act as if it's super personal. So I feel like you guys have been around a lot of people who try to guilt trip you, pile number 1, into doing or submitting what they want you to do. I feel like you guys have been around a lot of takers and a lot of people who have never been truly honest with you and always perhaps put you down. And now you're saying enough is enough. And because of that, you're kind of starting to evolve and shift and change out of this. So let's get the Wisdom of Oracle deck here. Because it just feels like you guys have, it's almost like life has pushed you to that edge, to that breaking point here, pile number 1. And I'm getting that you guys are just sick and tired of it and you're ready to heal. You're ready to no longer do things for others that they're not willing to do for you. So we have here a change in the wind and we have yin. So I feel like a lot of you guys have been in perhaps, and this is interesting, when yin came out, my first thought was, man, you've been really in the yang energy. You've been doing a lot for a lot of people, and now you're pulling back. So because you're pulling back and you're focusing more on yourself, you're healing yourself, you're taking time out, you're introspecting about yourself more and the people around you. Because sometimes when we're always in that go, go, go energy, we are not always seeing things as clearly because we're not taking time to observe the surroundings around us. And I feel for a lot of you guys, pile number 1, you guys are starting to change that. You're shifting more out of that masculine or that more doing energy, and you're shifting more into the feminine, the more receptivity energy. You're starting to observe things. You're starting to see who is willing to give to you instead of you always having to give to others. And I get the feeling too with that change in the wind, a lot of you guys, because all these circumstances and a lot of these terrible circumstances have led you down to this path, you're starting to change directions. You're starting to see things differently. And you're no longer acting and moving in the same way that you once did. And so you're going to start noticing things in your reality start to shift. And because you guys have been doing this, and pile number 1, I feel like this has been something going on for a while now. This has been in the making for some time, because I am getting to that your stability and your foundation in life is crumbling. And I feel like it's been breaking itself down for even a couple of years now or more, because you're starting to say, okay, this isn't working in my life, that's not working in my life. And you're starting to realize that it's almost like you're kind of becoming your own hero. Some of you guys, maybe you were hoping that somebody would come in and save you, or people would wake up and see you for what you were doing and how you're contributing. And you're almost realizing, okay, I got to stop focusing so much on other people now, and I really just need to focus in on myself. And, people are going to guilt trip you for that. They're going to say, oh, you're so selfish. You only think about yourself. But, the truth of the matter is who's going to think about you if you don't think about yourself? People don't really know what you need or what you want. And I think you're coming to that realization. Perhaps you're starting to realize the people in your life, you don't want to go down that path. You don't want to go to the life that they're living. So it's almost as though you're trying to make yourself better. I feel like this pile that I'm tuned into, you guys have been trying to level up your life. You're trying to heal. I feel like there is this sense of pain that you guys have been experiencing since childhood. It's some kind of emotional pain. And it's almost like you guys have been trying your hardest to heal and to get over that pain, but you cannot, for the life of you, seem to heal it. And you were hoping for other people to come in and save you. And I'm not saying you're doing that now, but maybe at one point in your life, you did kind of have a little bit of that victim mentality where you thought, man, I can't do this by myself. And a lot of times, we just don't give ourselves that credit. We think, man, this person can do it, but I can't do that. And we always downplay ourselves. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, because, like I said, growing up, maybe people have targeted your self-worth and your self-esteem, that this has been a slow grind to getting back up your self-worth and your self-esteem. And I feel like you guys are making your way into that type of life where you're starting to build upon yourself. And for a lot of you guys, you feel very alone and misunderstood with that orphan card. You feel like people do not understand you. People are not, or especially the people around you. You're starting to realize, man, a lot of the people don't really know me. A lot of people around me don't really understand me. And it's almost like you have isolated yourself perhaps from these people and these circumstances because you're taking time out to really introspect in your life, to really gather up what is good and what isn't good for you anymore. And I feel that for a lot of you guys, you're almost off to your own journey. You're trying to discover who you really are because you're trying to come to that point. Like I said, I feel like life has been pushing you to the edge, and here you go, come to the edge. So it's almost like you being so isolated, feeling so alone, so misunderstood by your peers, by the people around you, that you're on a self-discovery. You're starting to figure out more about yourself, and you're coming to that edge, to that breaking point. And I feel like for you guys, you're going to realize it's a never-ending story. The stories that we tell ourselves is what makes up our life. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to realize that this journey of discovering yourself it's never going to stop. It's always going to keep going. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to find somebody in your life that is going to match you. It's going to match your energy, but it requires you to take those leaps of faith. It requires you to leave people that are not worth your time or your energy. And it's not because people are bad. A lot of the times too, a lot of people think they know what's best for us or they want what is best for us, but they're stuck in their own fear or their own lack mentality, or they feel like, oh, because I want a certain outcome, they're not seeing what is necessarily for you or best for you. And so learning to evolve past that and letting that go is what's really going to help you guys and see things for what it truly is. And I feel like you guys are to that point in your life where you no longer want to settle for something less. You don't want to always say yes to things when you really want to say no. So you're really pulling back your energy at this time. And perhaps you weren't really like that. And so a lot of people, again, like I said, are noticing that. But you're really starting to see people's true colors. You're really starting to see things for what they are. And I feel like pile number 1, you guys are really changing and evolving. And it's very interesting because the honey calcite stone is all about healing past traumas, especially sexual traumas or anything that has really kind of kept you guys stuck. It's a very beautiful stone. I really love this stone. It's very calming and soothing. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that's what is happening right now is you're healing past traumas, you're healing stuff, and especially the shame that you feel about yourself, pile number 1. You guys have experienced a lot of people who have shamed you, who have put you guys down, who have told you that, what you want is wrong, and you're starting to no longer listen to those types of people. And I feel like that is why you guys are evolving. So even though a lot of terrible things have happened to you, and it's perhaps you're still going through a rough time, I feel like you guys are going to give yourself the justice. I feel like you guys are going to get out of this energy that you have been experiencing, because again, it's almost like life has just led you to this point where you're no longer giving yourself the time and the energy to always have to put others ahead of you. You're no longer doing that. You're deciding that, you know what, I deserve better than that. I deserve much more than what life is giving me. So we're going to pull here the Chakra Insight Oracle deck to just see what chakra are you guys healing at this time, or just what is it in your life that you are expanding, because I am getting that again for my pile number 1, and I feel like I just really need to reiterate this. I know that a lot of you guys have gone through a lot, and some of you guys have this hopeless mentality going on, and there's nothing wrong with that. Because we all go through really dark periods of our life, or we go through really hard times. And it only makes us stronger over a longer period of time. But I feel like a lot of you guys are going to start coming out of that. But the thing that is going on around you guys is people are reflecting to you the parts of yourself that you're ignoring or rejecting. And I feel that, as difficult as that sounds, because it's almost like, it almost feels, when I say stuff like that, sometimes it almost feels like I'm blaming you, right? Like, oh, if somebody cheated on you, then, it's a reflection of you. Not always. So a lot of the times it's a reflection of other people. So we shouldn't always take things too personally. But what I am saying here, though, is when you have denied parts of yourself, of who you are, for so long, people around you do the same thing, because you're vibrating at the same frequency. So when you're around people who are fake, and that's like all you see around you, that is a reflection. But here's the thing: when you decide, which I feel like a lot of you guys are at this point, you're evolving and changing and accepting yourself more. And I feel like because of that, the people around you are starting to have more issues with you. You're starting to notice stuff happening to you, right? Like maybe sudden circumstances come up. Maybe you lose your job. Maybe, and it's not always going to be like that. Or just like maybe just little things keep happening. But I'm also getting to, you have caught somebody in a lie, or you are experiencing things that people are maybe perhaps saying stuff behind your back. There's definitely something here that perhaps you didn't notice for a long time, that something was going on. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you are evolving past that point. So you're starting to bring in people that are more resonating on your true frequency, on who you more are authentically. So the more that we evolve, the better off we become. We also have here heart chakra. So a lot of you guys, I get the feeling that for some of you, maybe you're doing affirmations, you're doing visualizations, meditation, hypnosis, or again, you're just letting go of certain traumas and you're healing your heart. So for a lot of you guys, you're becoming, even though you feel so isolated, right, from that orphan card, you feel very misunderstood, very alone. You guys are still evolving and changing and shifting, and you're healing that heart chakra, which I feel like, again, is bringing you into this new journey of self. And again, I don't think that the people around you are necessarily bad people, but I think a lot of them are just not for your highest good, and I think you're seeing that. We have here self-expression, vocalization, individuality, inner voice, and assertiveness. Exactly. So this is what I was saying by, it's like your guys' self-esteem has been beaten down at such a young age that now you guys have been working and doing stuff. I feel like a lot of you guys are doing inner healing, like inner child work, and that is pushing you guys to healing and evolving and changing. And I feel like it's really helping you guys with your self-expression. You're starting to use your voice more. And that's, remember when I said earlier too, you guys are setting boundaries? You guys are learning to say no when you really want to say no instead of saying yes. Because a lot of times it's a gut reaction, right? When we're like, oh yes, I'll do that. And then afterwards we're like, why did I say that? I didn't want to do that. But it's just like, at that point, it's a habit. I feel like you guys are breaking those chains. You're no longer allowing people to use you or mistreat you anymore. You guys are starting to express who you are more and more. And I feel like that's starting to bring the people that have meant to be in your life. But a lot of the times too, when you start to shift out of this energy that you've been in for so long, you're going to notice that a lot of people, a lot of things are going to leave your life, but you're going to have like an empty hole there for a while. So it's almost like having to fill in the spaces of doing different activities, doing different hobbies, meeting new people. Sometimes there's that awkward period, and I feel like for some of you guys, you're about into that awkward period where maybe you don't really have as many friends, you don't really have as many people in your life that you would like, or again, there's just something in your life that feels like a black hole, right? Like there's nothing really there. And it's almost like you guys are in that awkward phase of limbo until things come into your life. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, keep expressing yourself, keep working on your heart chakra, because I really do believe that that is bringing in the justice that you guys deserve, pile number 1. Because a lot of you guys, you have put in the work, you have been healing, you have been working through your issues. But the problem is you're feeling very alone and isolated. And you're feeling like nobody else around you is doing the same thing. And so a lot of you guys feel really alone, really misunderstood, and it's starting to shift you guys out of that perspective, because people and things are going to start coming in that are going to reflect and match who you really are. So I feel like for my pile number 1s, how you guys are evolving is you guys are starting to change the way that you talk about yourself. You're starting to set better boundaries with others around you. You're no longer saying yes when you really want to say no. And because of that, you guys are going to start to see things shifting and changes. And especially with that change in the wind, I feel like you guys are starting to change even the habits that you have physically. So perhaps you're replacing some negative habits with more positive habits. And I feel like that is also really shifting the reality around you. And if you think about it, your world is going to be crazy at first when you start to change who you are. You know, people are not going to like that. People are going to say, oh, you've changed, pile number 1, or you're doing this now, pile number 1. And it's good. We are supposed to be changing. We are supposed to be evolving. So a lot of you guys right now might be dealing with people who are telling you stuff that is negative about yourself. Maybe you're around people who are constantly trying to have confrontation with you, or people that are trying to get you to go back to the old you, the old self. But don't do that. Don't fall for that. Don't allow people to guilt trip you or to force you into a specific period of time when you feel like you're not ready for that or you don't want to deal with that. So at the bottom of the deck here we have inspiration, ideas, spark, conception, and impulse. I feel like a lot of you guys are starting to inspire people even around you, whether you realize it or not. I feel like for a lot of you guys, because you're changing your perspective and you're changing parts of your life, you're going to start noticing that you're going to have better ideas. Things are going to come to you a lot easier. And that's one of the things that you're evolving is, again, with that self-expression. I feel like with that self-expression and that inspiration, I feel like you guys are going to start creating art, or you're going to start doing stuff that you've always wanted to do. So I feel like for my pile number 1s, there is something that you've always wanted to do, but perhaps you've always kind of denied that part of you, or you were taught at a young age that this part of you was unacceptable. And so you've really kind of kept that side of you hidden. And I feel that because you are starting to open up and be more authentic and be more open and honest about yourself, you guys are starting to, all of a sudden, it's almost like your creativity is going to flood back in. Because when we deny a lot about ourselves, especially shame can really block our creative flow, because we feel like there's something inherently wrong with us. Which is always lies, because there is nothing inherently wrong with anybody. It's just the perspective that we hold about that. And I feel like a lot of you guys, like I said, you are shifting and changing, so new ideas are going to come to you. You guys are going to start creating something that I feel like is going to lead you guys to gaining more prosperity and more things in your life. Some of you guys, one of the things that you have is, I feel like for my pile number 1s, you guys are the go-getters. You guys are the ones that actually want to change your life for the better, because not only do you want to change your life for the better, but you also want to do it for those that you love, for those that you care about. And again, with that heart chakra, you guys are really trying to be more authentic because you want to be there for those you care about. When you're just always pushing your true self down all the time, you're not really benefiting anybody. You're not really helping anybody. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're at this point in your life where you're realizing, I can't just hope that things are going to change for me. I have to go out there and make that change. And I feel like that is something too, is maybe you've dealt with a lot of depression, or you've dealt with a lot of stuff that has kind of kept you guys from really moving forward in your life, and you're no longer allowing that to impact you. Pile number one, you're saying, you know what, enough is enough. I can't sit here and sulk. I can't sit here, like, yes, a lot of stuff has happened to me. Yeah, a lot of people have taken advantage of me, but that doesn't mean that I still can't better myself. That doesn't mean that I still can't be successful. I feel like a lot of you guys have had a lot of people put you down growing up. Like, who do you think you are? You're going to be a nobody. But really, you guys have so much inspiration. You guys have so much power that I feel like people around you were aware of that power. So they tried to squash that. They wanted to squander that because they didn't want you to see the potential that you had. Because as much as, say, people love us and care about us, the truth is a lot of the times people do not want us to evolve past where they are. And as sad as that is, sometimes we have to take it for what it is, you know, sometimes people, they don't want to change. And so when they see us change, it somehow imposes a threat about themselves. But the truth is you just deserve that. You deserve to have what you really want. And to have somebody tell you that you don't is flat out a lie. And it just, again, it's terrible that we have to live in a world where people have to put you down to make themselves feel better. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you're shifting out of that. You're no longer letting people stifle your voice. You're no longer letting people try to control the outcome or try to control you. I feel like you've been around a lot of people that tried to make you feel guilty for how you feel. And you're letting all of that go now because you no longer want to hold that hold that standard up when you know that that's not really who you are. So I'm going to pull some cards here of the Power of Love Oracle. Okay, we got quite a bit, but that's great. So we have here detachment. You are releasing old patterns and ideas that no longer serve your highest ideals of love. Exactly. That's what I was saying too, especially with that change in the wind. You guys are changing your patterns and you are detaching from people, circumstances, jobs, just things that are around you that you know have been weighing you down, that has not been there for your highest good. It's like you are deciding enough is enough and you're changing that. And because of that, and it's like sometimes the universe just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing till things become so unbearable that we have to change. And that's what I mean by it felt like some of you guys is like a Sagittarius or Saturn pile, because I feel like you guys have just really had to learn a lot of lessons, and it's maybe you guys are the stubborn too. Some of you guys might be very stubborn, where maybe you had to go through a lot in order for you to change. And that's just human nature in general. When we get comfortable, we become complacent, and then we don't grow. We don't want to do anything. And so sometimes the universe has to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing to the point where we're finally like up against a wall and we have no other choice but to change. And for some of you guys, that could have been a lot of your guys' circumstances. So you're learning to detach from people, places, and things because you're aware that, okay, I don't want to stay in pain anymore. I don't want to stay stuck in the same routines or in the same life. It's like you really want to evolve and change. We have here responsibility. What was I saying? You guys have been taking responsibility for yourself. I said it earlier. Some of you guys, maybe you had this mentality of, oh, I really would love somebody to come in and save me. I would really love somebody to come in and just do this for me. And now it's like you're taking in that responsibility. You guys are maturing, you're evolving, you're growing. And it's almost like you guys have been working on healing that inner child. So you're taking better responsibility for yourself. We have you are aware of the power of your thoughts and the amount of love you express. Then we have here self-love. You realize that love of self is necessary to love another. Exactly. And I think that is why your heart chakra is opening up. A lot of people have it backwards. You know, when they say, oh, you're so selfish, you're so this, you're so that. sometimes you need to be, though. Life, it's human nature to be selfish. It just is. We all are here to survive. We're all here to have different experiences in life. And so, who are we to say what is and isn't selfish for another person? And so we're evolving out of that. Self-love is not selfishness. Selfishness is greed. It's taking and taking and taking when you have enough. It's constantly expecting and putting expectations on others when they did nothing wrong or that they don't deserve to be put in that box. That is selfish. But you, pile number 1, taking the time out to learn who you are, expressing what your wants, your needs, and your desires are, taking accountability and responsibility for yourself, detaching from things that aren't serving you anymore, that's not selfish, that's self-love. And in the long term, that's not only going to benefit you, but everyone else in your life, everyone around you. So if you're around people that are telling you, oh, you've changed, or oh, you're being selfish, ignore those people. Continue what you're doing, because I feel like pile number 1, you guys are on the path to finding people that are going to accept you for you, people that are going to love you for you. And I feel like a lot of you guys, this has been a long time coming. This is something that you've been hoping and praying and wishing for. And I feel like it's really starting to come into your guys' life. So yeah, let's keep going here. Discernment. You are developing the skill to distinguish love from fear and truth from illusion. Exactly. And that's what I was thinking with that 7 of Swords here, is it's like you're discerning people in your life, who is and isn't for you, who is and isn't meant for your life. And I feel like for my pile number 1s, you guys are being able to discern people. You guys are being able to see what is love and what is fear. Because, like I said, a lot of the times people mean well, but a lot of the time people are living in this fear-based consciousness, and it is just most people, in fact, everybody has it to some degree or another in our life, right? Not everybody has some kind of poverty consciousness somewhere in our life. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're realizing that sometimes people might place that fear onto you, thinking that they're trying to help you or save you. But in actuality, it's almost like it's just bringing you down. So you're realizing, oh no, this person is just afraid. This person's in fear. That's not love. This isn't love. This is true. This is not true. And everyone has different truths. Everyone has different disillusionments, right? And so it's not our job to figure out what is someone else's truth or what is someone else's fears. Our job is to figure out what is our fears and what is our truths, what's our love. And I feel like that's where you guys are coming out of. You guys are learning to stop shifting your focus on the external and focusing more on yourself and what you can control. And I feel like that is why you guys are going to be bringing in people that are meant for you, why you guys are going to be changing the reality that you have, because you guys are detaching from things that don't serve you. You're taking responsibility for yourself. You're setting a good example for others. You're inspiring not only yourself, but other people. You guys are growing in self-love. You guys are learning to use discernment so you can take what is and isn't yours, leave what doesn't serve you and what's not meant for you. You guys are really evolving. And I just have to say that it is such an inspiration, not only for me to be doing this reading for you guys, but also just to say, like, it is so refreshing to know that there are people out here that are evolving, that are changing. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you've gone through so much in your life, and because of that, you are able to teach other people how to get over these hard circumstances as well. You have a lot of wisdom coming out of these circumstances because you've evolved, you've changed, you've grown, and you've seen things for really what they are, pile number 1. And so I feel like this is a very beautiful reading, because even though perhaps some of you guys are still in this awkward phase where maybe nobody's really coming in, you're still figuring things out, you might still feel kind of lost in yourself, you're on the right path. So keep going down where you're going, trust in yourself, learn to discern what is and isn't meant for you, and you guys are going to start really changing and seeing things change before your eyes. So we also have here at the bottom of the deck, patience. You are able to let the universal energy of transformation move according to its own loving rhythm. Yeah, a lot of you guys have had to learn to be patient. I feel like for some of you guys, you're always like, man, I want things to change now. I really want this to go now in my favor. And it's like you guys have gone through these trials, and every time maybe you've tried to take shortcuts, you try to do certain things, it's almost like things kept stifling you and kept making you say, no, you got to be patient. Nope, this isn't going to work. Nope, this is not going to work. To the point where you started to say, okay, things are going to happen for me when they're meant to happen for me. And it's almost like you're detaching from the outcomes. You're surrendering from what you believe is going to be success. So it's almost like for my pile number 1, you're redefining success, you're redefining yourself, you're redefining those around you. And because of that, you're going to start to see things slowly start to change and things are going to move out of your life so that new things can move into your life. So that is what I'm seeing for my pile number 1. I hope that this resonates for you guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. I wish you guys the best of luck. Have a great and wonderful day, pile number 1. Thank you. Bye. Hi, pile number 2. This is your guys' reading for how are you guys evolving. So those that picked the Rider-Waite Tarot deck, or of course, the beautiful Sunstone. This Sunstone is super powerful. This little guy amazes me. I've had a lot of people hold this stone and they instantly feel like something releasing, because the Sunstone is meant to cut cords and burn away things that are not meant to be in our life. So a lot of times when people have energetic attachments to us, this beautiful baby here can help you release it, help you get rid of it. So some of you guys, I feel like for my pile number 1, before I've even started, I think some of you guys are cutting cords with people or cutting ties from things in your life. So let's pull your tarot here. Let's just shuffle. What is going on? How is my pile number 2 evolving? Okay, pile number 2. So we have the 4 of Pentacles, the King of Pentacles, the Magician, the 2 of Pentacles, the Page of Swords, the 3 of Wands, and the King of Wands. So how have you guys been changing? How are you evolving? I feel like for a lot of you guys, like I said, with that beautiful stone, I feel like a lot of you guys are cutting ties or just letting things go. So some of you are letting go of a position or a job or something that, again, feels like it was burdening you. With that King of Pentacles, although he's a very hard worker and he's very careful and meticulous about how he does things, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're dropping the burdens and you're dropping the hardships that you feel. For some of you guys, maybe you're dropping a toxic person out of your life. There's somebody that has been in your life that has wreaked havoc in your life in some form or another. And I just feel like a lot of you guys, and also I'm getting 2 from my pile number 2s, that this is also perhaps a significant like a metaphor for yourself. Maybe you guys have had, when we get rigid or we get stuck in a stress or a belief system and it's not serving us, I feel like that could be it too. That some of you guys, maybe you've dealt with things that have just stressed you out and you just felt like you had to do it and you just kept going and doing it until it's just draining you and you're not feeling it anymore. Either way, pile number 2, I feel like you guys are starting to let go of bad behaviors, bad people, and circumstances, and you guys are starting to change. So we all have the magician inside of us. Our words, our actions, our beliefs, and our spirit is what changes and maneuvers around life. And I feel like a lot of you guys, you are starting to use all of you. You're realizing your words are important. Your feelings are important. Your thoughts are important. Your body is important. It's almost like you guys have taken time out to really get what you want. Some of you guys, this could be even like my law of attraction pile, where perhaps you are learning about the law of attraction and you've been focusing a lot on that, or at least researching it. Or even if you are not aware of it, it's almost as though you guys are starting to speak things into existence. And I feel from my pile number 2, a lot of you guys used to juggle back and forth between responsibility and wanting to do certain things. And I feel like a lot of you guys are no longer doing that. For some of you guys too, it's even just a belief pattern you have about yourself with the world. You're like, oh, I can't do this because what will people think of me? Oh, I can't do that because what if this happens? And it's like you guys are you're almost like you're done trying to juggle parts of yourself because you're no longer really caring about how other people perceive you as much. Maybe a lot of you guys had like this social anxiety and you have a really hard time telling people how you feel or what you're thinking. And I am also getting to that maybe growing up, pile number 2, a lot of you guys could have had a really hard time being misunderstood. You could have had some kind of like speech impediment, or you just had a hard time maybe articulating how you're feeling or what you're thinking. And so maybe a lot of you guys, it's almost as though that part of you is you're growing out of, where you're no longer feeling like you're almost at that point where you're like, I don't really care if I'm misunderstood. So a lot of you guys are waiting on something in particular. I don't know if you're waiting for a time frame to do something, or you're waiting on an individual. There's something here that seems like it's pending though. You're waiting for something to check out or something to work. I feel that some of you guys, you've been working towards building and establishing yourself. So here on the bottom of the deck, I have been getting this, that a lot of you guys, you perhaps held parts of yourself back. And it feels like for some of you guys, what you've been holding back was this. I get this feeling that a lot of you are very enthusiastic people. You have a lot of good qualities, but I feel like that you've been shamed for those qualities. And I think that you guys are slowly starting to integrate that back into yourself. But the main focus here is figuring out what is going to bring you guys wish fulfillment, what's going to make you happy. And this is what I mean is you guys are starting to voice your opinions, and you realize you're no longer saying to yourself that your feelings don't matter. I think a lot of you guys have put yourself down saying, oh, I shouldn't feel this way, I shouldn't think this way. But now it's almost like you're saying, you know what, that's okay. Even though there's a part of you that might still feel a little bit of shame for that, or a little bit of guilt, you are starting to evolve past that. A lot of you guys, the reason you've taken breaks out is because you felt defeated in something in your life. I get a feeling, again, it's something to do with that King of Pentacles, because you're releasing that King of Pentacles, which is evolving you into the Magician. You guys had a lot of limiting beliefs about how you make your money, about how life needs to be, and it's almost like you guys are taking that time out to really see yourself. And this is what I mean by you guys are starting to take accountability for your feelings a little bit more, because I feel that you guys are going to have some kind of tower moment that's going to shake you guys up. So this seems really positive. What I'm getting from my pile number 2s is you are no longer making excuses to why you cannot do something. Even if you're afraid, there is something in my pile number 2's mind that you've been thinking about for a very long time. And you've been really wanting to bring that into the physical. You've been really wanting to let go of these limiting beliefs that you have. And for everybody, it's going to be a little bit different. For some of you, it's like you wanting to build a certain business. For others of you, it could be a relationship. It's going to be different for everybody, but there's something here that you guys are just letting go of. You don't want to hold on to anymore because you're realizing that it just doesn't serve you. It's not giving you what you want or what you need. And you're coming to that conclusion that it's just not worth having if you're going to be miserable all the time. So for some of my pile number 2s, this could be a career that maybe you made a lot of money, but you just were not happy with. And you're realizing, you know, my happiness is worth more than what the material is that it is. For others of you, it's you no longer want to be in a relationship where you feel like this person isn't willing to continue to grow with you. Maybe you guys are just not seeing eye to eye. So for everybody, it is different. But what I am getting is the outcome is the same. You're learning to let go of the judgments that you have of yourself, and you're starting to learn to go with the flow a little bit easier. I feel like for my pile number 2, a lot of you guys have gone through a lot of ups and downs when it comes to asserting yourself, when it comes to listening to your feelings. And even though I don't really have any cups up here, I just feel like there's definitely something here where you kept pushing it down. Oh, I don't trust myself here. Oh, I shouldn't feel this way. I shouldn't think this way. And it is forcing you guys to change and shift and evolve and say, no, I do deserve this. I should have this. And because of that, you guys are really starting to break away anything that doesn't serve you anymore. So let's have here the Wisdom of Oracle deck. Let's pull some of that for you guys. How is my pile number 2 evolving? Go the distance. See, I think a lot of you guys, you maybe have started something and then you pull back. You start something and then you pull back. And it's like, you guys might be that curious, I feel like you guys are my curious pile, where maybe you have a lot of different interests. And that's another thing that's been really difficult for you guys, is to settle on just one thing. And I think that a lot of you guys are going to start to integrate everything that you have and learn. Like if you're, say for instance, if you're interested in like gardening, but you're also interested in philosophy, and you're interested in psychology, and you're interested in other facets or areas of your life, you're going to find a way to be able to integrate all of that, or if not most of that, into making money or into different ideas. Or you're going to be able to take the knowledge and the things that you've learned and put that into your relationship. So I feel like a lot of you guys, everything that you have learned and everything that you have gone through up to this point has caused you guys to almost get this. It's almost like some of you guys are right about to have just this burst of energy, and you guys are going to go for it. But maybe you've overthought it too much, or you tried to talk yourself out of it. But like this feels like something that's been going on for a couple of months to a year, of you always having this idea in your head that you really want to implicate, but you don't know how to do that. And so now it's almost like you guys are going to go the distance. You guys are going to make that become a reality. You have everything you need, pile number 2, to make this a reality. You have what it takes to go for your dreams and to get what you want, but it's having that trust in yourself, and it's not giving up. Because the truth is you haven't failed, pile number 2. And some of you guys might have this fear of failure. You might have the fear of, what will people think of me if I can't make this happen? How are people going to feel towards me? But the truth of it is, pile number 2, is if you take it day by day, step by step, and you don't give up on that front, you're never going to truly fail. Even if that attempt didn't work, as long as you tweak it and as long as you keep going after what it is you want, you are going to succeed. And I feel like that's what this is about, is you guys got to just trust yourselves and go the distance. Don't give up on yourself, because that's the only time that you are ever going to fail, is if you just stop doing it. We also have the here and now. So this is your time to shine right now, pile number 2. This is your time to evolve. You guys have everything you need. You just have to trust yourself. All of the resources, all of the stuff that you are trying to gain, you already have it. You just have to open up your eyes and see things for really what it is. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that's what's really manifesting and changing. Man, there is a lot of cards here, but I feel the need to take them. So we have here deep knowing. And this is what I'm saying. You guys have studied things, or you've learned something. There's something here, pile number 2, that you guys have learned that you can implicate into whatever this project or relationship is, or whatever it is. Even if it's just evolving yourself and changing yourself. You guys are gaining that momentum, the prosperity, the things that you are seeking, you already know. It's like you have this wisdom inside of yourself that you can just tap into at any time. And it's realizing that you guys, it's like tapping into that vein of gold. You have this gold, these nuggets of truth, and it might not be the truth for other people around you, but it's your truth. And it's time that you honor and respect that, because perhaps you have spoken and said things, well, I believe this, or I want to do that, and maybe you've been around people who have made fun of you for that, who have judged you for that. But the truth is, pile number 2, is you are worthy of that. You are worthy of love. You are worthy of being received, and the right type of people are going to see how smart and how genius you are, when perhaps other people around you are not really seeing that, or are not as knowledgeable about it, right? So it's almost like maybe you've told people around you your ideas, and maybe people have laughed at you or tried to discourage you, and you're having to learn to trust yourself and say, you know what, this is a good idea. This is something that I can do. Because the truth is, pile number 2, I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you've had people put you down and say, don't do this, you're going to just fail, or they don't understand quite what you're trying to, because it's like you have this image in your mind, pile number 2, that nobody else can see. And it's not for them. It's not their vision. It's not their blueprint of life. Everybody comes down here on earth to experience different avenues and different things. So that's why it's so hard, because they always say don't judge others. They say not to judge others because everybody has a different story. Everybody has different challenges. What's easy for one person is not easy for another. And so to say that we're all the same is kind of ludicrous. And I feel like for my pile number 2, you have an idea, and I feel like you've said something about this idea to somebody, and I feel like they've really discouraged you, or they've really laughed at you. And I just really want to tell you that it's not that this person was ignorant or mean, although they could have been. But what I'm telling you is that this person, it wasn't meant for them to understand. It's not their life purpose, or their perspective doesn't really matter. It's what you think about yourself. It's what you know you can do. So what I'm trying to say, pile number 2, is stop it. Just ignore what other people around you are telling you, and focus on what you know you can do, and what the vision it is in your head. Because even if it doesn't go the way that you wanted it to in your head, it's still going to be, if not better than what you thought it would be. So I feel like you guys have some kind of idea that not only can make you money, not only can bring you better prosperity in different areas of your life, but is actually going to fulfill you on an emotional level. So trust yourself and stop making excuses and go after what it is you want. So we have to be fair. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you really want to be fair and just to those around you. I'm also getting to that maybe perhaps growing up, you never really had that fairness. Maybe you've dealt with a lot of unfair treatment, and that could have stifled you and really discouraged you from really putting yourself out there. And what I'm telling you is, a lot of you guys, you have that ability to go after what it is that you actually want, and you deserve to go for the things that you actually want. So it's like to be fair to yourself, and trusting yourself, and knowing that you have what it takes to put yourself into that position, to give yourself that ability to move for what you want. Even if it doesn't feel fair, even if there's obstacles in your way, it's to have that trust that you are smart enough, that you are strategic enough, that you are capable enough to maneuver around that. Even if you're around people that don't treat you the way that you deserve, that doesn't mean that that's a reflection of yourself. That just means that there's something going on in that person's world and their reality. And it's not necessarily, it's almost like with that owl here, and there's an owl here. There's a lot of owls. I feel like you guys are very wise, but maybe perhaps you guys second guess yourself. You second guess yourself, and that is what is stopping you from really achieving yourself. And I feel like that is what you're evolving out of. We also have here a leg up. So for a lot of you guys, learning to trust yourself and know that you can make it to that finish line, that you have the ability to move past and to actually let go of the things that you were afraid that you couldn't really have, or that you feel like you weren't capable of having. It's almost like you guys are going to realize that whatever this position, whatever this is that you want to do, is going to give you a leg up in this world. It's going to actually benefit you in the long term. So I feel like what's going on for my pile number 2s is I feel like this is my entrepreneurial pile, or my pile that is successful in their own right. So, one of the things that I feel like you guys are learning is it's not all about the instant gratification. You're learning to prolong your gratification to get to the end goal so that you can reap the benefits long term instead of short term. So you guys are really changing your mental mind, the way that you're thinking, the way that you are creating. And I feel like the reason why there wasn't any cups really in your cards, like the emotional aspect, is I feel like because sometimes we don't feel like doing certain things, but that doesn't mean that we still shouldn't do it, right? So when we get up in the morning, like, oh, I don't want to go to the gym, we don't feel like it, but we know that long term, if you keep doing it, you're going to get better, you're going to get stronger, you're going to get into the habit of it, and it will be easier, much, much easier to get up and go to the gym the longer you do it. So it's going that distance, and it's being that persistence. And I feel like for my pile number 2, you are learning to get out of that. You're breaking out of the complacency and the habits that you've had, and you're learning to just do it even if you don't feel like it. It's like you guys are just, whatever this is, I feel like this is really going to enhance your way of living and your life, pile number 2. We also have TikTok. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, maybe you've wasted a lot of time, or you feel like this is going to take forever. And so some of you guys, like I said, maybe you've tried to talk yourselves out of it, but now is the time to commit to it. And I feel like you guys are on that verge, or if not, have committed to it. So for my pile number 2s, how I'm seeing you guys evolving, how I'm seeing you guys changing, is you guys are starting to make a decision and go after a goal, a relationship, or whatever you know is going to bring you emotional fulfillment in the long term. And you guys are learning to no longer sacrifice the long-term pleasure for the short, instantaneous pleasure that only lasts for seconds to a day anyway. And then, so I feel like you guys are really figuring out what is and isn't right for you. So you guys are really changing, you guys are really evolving, you guys are really learning to let these things go, because I feel like for my pile number 2s, you guys are really starting to cut ties or cut people out of your life that are distractions, things that are distracting you, and I feel like for a lot of you guys, again, that fork in the road. You are on the verge of making a decision that I feel like is going to really change and impact your guys' life. And I feel that for a lot of my pile number 2s, not only is this going to become very beneficial for you long term, but it's also going to really, it's almost like you guys are really going to up your game, and you're going to really be not only more valuable to yourself, but even to others around you. People are going to start seeing you in a better light. For some of you guys, maybe you really feel like that King of Wands in the reverse. You just don't feel like you have the motivation or the drive or the know-how, because there's a part of you that maybe you feel like, it's almost like you guys are holding yourselves back to really going after what it is you want, because there is a part of you that is afraid of failure. There's a part of you that's afraid of not being enough. But I am really starting to see that this is going to come back to the more upright position, where I feel like you guys are going to start seeing the best in yourself. You guys are going to start having more confidence, but it's taking the steps to get confidence. Confidence is by repetition. We do things over and over and over again till we become confident. And self-esteem is built on how we see ourselves. So I feel like self-esteem and confidence can kind of go hand to hand, because in order for you to build up your confidence, you're also building up your self-worth, your self-esteem. So I feel like for a lot of my pile number 2, you guys are building up that confidence inside of yourself by taking it one day at a time and constantly practicing whatever this is that you're trying to complete. It's like you're going to keep doing it over and over and over again, to the point where it becomes such second nature to you that you're going to be able to thrive and create better more better things in your life, and you're going to start to see things kind of manifest for you. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is something that has been a long time coming, like I said, especially here with that TikTok. If it takes, say it takes 5 years to get to where your goals are, when you reach that 5-year point, you're going to feel so fulfilled, and you're going to have so much more confidence on the way to that goal. So some of you guys really enjoy the process. Learn to, yes, be in the masculine, set that goal, but go back into that feminine energy and enjoy the process of obtaining that goal. Because the truth is I feel like for some of you guys, you might just be those people that just like to check things off the list, but never truly enjoy it. And it's like, this is teaching you guys, you have what it takes to achieve this goal. Time is on your side. You guys are going to get a leg up in this, and I feel like you're going to meet people too, pile number 2, along the way that's going to benefit you. Because when you put yourself out here on whatever this is for you guys, like I said, it's going to be different for everybody. This is a general reading, so I feel like it's a little bit abstract in my opinion, because I don't really know what this is fully. I just know that whatever this is that you guys have in your mind, it is going to put you into a position where you're going to not only meet new people that are going to help you, but you're also going to put yourself in a position that will benefit you later on in your life. So this is a very important thing that I feel like you guys are going through. So let's pull the Chakra Insight Oracle deck and see what is it that my pile 2 is evolving into and is changing and is just doing for the better, right? Woo! That almost flew off the table. Choice. Free will, courage, willpower, and change. You guys had that choice. And I think that that's what's happening, especially because it's interesting that this is controlled by your solar plexus chakra. So with that yellow there, what this is I feel like this is building up your self-esteem, your confidence. It is being who you are, and you guys have the choice to go after what it is you want. And the truth is yes, you're going to have fears. Yes, things are going to be uncomfortable, but that's the point of courage, is it's not the absence of fear itself. It's having the fear and doing it anyways. So a lot of you guys, you have that free will to change whatever outcome you are experiencing in your life. And I feel like that is something that is going to really greatly change you. It's going to evolve you and shift you into a different paradigm, into a different way of living. We also have here money. Finances, power, generosity, and abundance. This is what I was saying. I feel like whatever this is, whether this is some kind of creative idea, there's something here that my pile number 2s want to create, and I feel like it's going to make you guys money. It's going to bring prosperity and abundance into your life. I feel like for my pile number 2s, maybe you guys right now are currently struggling financially, or you're just struggling to gain as much as you want. And I feel like you guys are going to reach that money goal that you have, but it's going to require you guys to set personal boundaries with yourself and others around you. See, again, choice, assertiveness, empowerment, authenticity. So it's like you guys are starting to step into the parts of you that says, okay, even though I don't want to do this, I have to do this. Here's the thing. This was interesting. On my way home today, I was thinking to myself, man, I have to do tarot today. And then I stopped myself. And when I say I have to, how does that make me feel? It made me feel like I had no choice, and because I feel that way, now I don't want to do it. But then I said to myself, no, I get to do tarot today. And that shifted and changed my entire energy. And that is what I feel like for a lot of you guys, changing your words. The little words you say to yourself, pile number 2, is what's going to change the outcome of how you feel about this situation. So instead of saying, oh, I have to do this, say, I get to do this. And notice that the more you start to change the way you speak and tell yourself and talk to yourself, that's what's going to build you up. So for a lot of you guys, what I see you evolving into is you guys are evolving into you're evolving into a place where you realize that you have choices. You're starting to see things more than just, like when we get into this mindset of I only have like one or two choices, it really like barricades us. It really limits our ability to not only manifest money, to manifest relationship or anything in general. So I feel like for my pile number 2s, a lot of you guys, you realizing that you have more than one option, you have more than one choice, and that's really going to help you guys make better decisions. And also just pausing and taking the time to decide the choices and the decisions you make. Because, when people ask us for something, sometimes, we think we have to give an immediate answer right away. But a lot of times, no, we don't really have to. We can have a second to really pause and think about it. And so I feel like for you guys, that is something that is definitely happening, is you guys are learning to just kind of pause and think about what it is that you really want. And I think that's also going to really benefit my pile number 2s. So I feel like a lot of you guys are very intelligent too. Education, knowledge, perception, and flexibility. It's having that knowing how and just trusting yourself. Again, because I also feel like with that fork in the road for the bottom here, and as I pull back, at the very bottom of that, we have blessed. So this is going to bless you guys with so many more options than I think you guys even realize, because I feel like for a lot of you guys, you just have to breathe. You might have a lot of anxiety about whatever this is that you want to start creating in your life, but I really am believing that pile number 2, you guys are going to become blessed. You guys are going to start seeing things in a more positive way. So just take a breather and just realize that you are the only one that can bring this vision to life. And you need to trust yourself more. You need to give yourself more love, more attention, and more assertiveness, and realize that you have what it takes, pile number 2, to create this. So let's see. We have the Power of Love cards I'm going to be pulling for you guys here. But I am getting that for the way that you guys are evolving is you guys are starting to make better decisions for yourself. And you guys are, like I said, are no longer just settling for instant gratifications. You no longer want to have this pile up against you either. It's like when we put stuff off. Oh, I'll do this tomorrow. Oh, I'll do this another time. And then it starts to add and it builds. You're no longer doing that. You're no longer putting things off so that you're missing out. Okay. So we have here present. You live in the moment and are able to bring forth the energy of love in your current circumstances. Yeah, I feel like it's going to also help you guys get more grounded in the present moment, especially because making these choices and these decisions, I feel like for a lot of you guys, maybe you have, like I said, that anxiety, moving forward and taking that action, but it's really going to evolve you and make you grow. So how I feel like you guys pile number 2 is going to be evolving is you're cutting ties with past behaviors and parts of yourself that is just not serving you in the long run. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, what's also going to benefit you is to not tell people your plans. Just go for it. Just don't talk about it. Just do it. Because I feel like maybe you've been around a lot of people who've put you down and have talked you out of certain things that could have potentially worked out in your favor if you would have just gone for it. And I feel like pile number 2, this is really, you guys are at this, like I said, that fork in the road, that moment in your life where you're realizing that you have choices, you have decisions, and you guys are just, oh my gosh, pile number 2, you guys are evolving into a more mature, and again, with the owl here, you guys are bringing in the wisdom, the intellect, the knowledge that you have, and you guys are going to be able to use that to your benefit. So you guys are evolving in that way. So we have here acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and loving embrace the rhythm of life. And that's what I was saying too, especially with this stone here, it's like you guys were cutting ties or losing, like releasing the control that you have about people and circumstances in your life. It's like you're no longer allowing things to go the way that they always have been. I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of sick and tired of staying in the same situation. So it's like you guys are just moving forward, no longer holding on to circumstances or people that are not for your highest good. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're really shifting and changing the way that not only you perceive others, but also the value of yourself and what it is that you have to contribute to other people. So we also have here willingness. You are able to compromise if the end result is love. And I feel for a lot of you guys, it's like having the willingness to know that just because, like, for instance, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have this image or this idea in your head of how you want things to go, what you want things to be like. And I feel like it's really starting to, it's all about how you perceive yourself and how you are shaping your own reality. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, going down this journey and making these choices, you might come to the crossroads and realizations that just you might have to sacrifice certain ideas of how you think certain things need to be in order to be successful. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, this has been a ongoing up and down situation where you've had to really evolve and really change who you are in a lot of different ways. So I feel like for my pile number 2s, a lot of it is mental. You're really changing the way that you view things mentally, how you're seeing the world around you, how you're perceiving money, how you're perceiving certain outcomes, and you're just no longer holding on to these circumstances that are just, you feel like is keeping you stuck. So for a lot of you guys, you're learning how to be more flexible and not so rigid in the way that you're thinking and the way that you're evolving. And I feel like this is also what's going to bring in the money and bring in the success, because you maybe at one point you're like, oh, I don't really want to compromise this, I don't want to compromise that. But now you're realizing that, like, in order for you to perhaps get to, like, say you're at like, in order for you to get to A to B, maybe you have to make certain changes or sacrifices to get to C. And so now you guys are really changing and evolving. And it's almost like you guys are learning that just because you have a belief on how things need to be, that doesn't mean it's how it should be. And so I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're really maturing in that way as well. We also have here transformation. You use the power of love to move through illusions and shift into awareness. Exactly. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, the reason that you guys are going to become successful and get the leg up that you deserve is because you guys are, like I said, becoming more flexible, knowing that it's okay not to have all the answers. Pile number 2, you don't need to have all of the answers in order to be successful. I feel like for a lot of you guys, don't be afraid to ask people for help if you know that they can help you in that situation. So some of you guys, I feel like you guys are really going to be evolving and changing, and you have what it takes to get to where you need to be, pile number 2, but it's all in trusting that you have what it takes, that you are aware. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, like I said, it's just changing parts of your perspective and parts of that mental, it's like you're very smart, but unfortunately for some of you guys, perhaps you maybe block out certain ideas or you feel like certain things will not work. And it's almost like you're needing to reevaluate just because you can't see, like, it's hard to explain. Just because you cannot see it going a certain way, if you choose a certain avenue, doesn't mean that it can't. So if you start making your way, say you go the distance, you start taking in that action, pile number 2. If something comes up and it's a roadblock, that doesn't mean that that's a failure. It just means that you need to reevaluate how to maneuver around that. Learn to be a little bit more flexible in that and seeing different angles of how it can be, because not everything is black and white and not everything is set in stone. So I feel like that is really what you guys are evolving into, pile number 2, is realizing that you have what it takes, you have the capacity and the ability to actually change and evolve in your life, but it's having to have that faith and trust in yourself and know that you do know how to gain this. And I feel like because of this, it's going to really build up your confidence. And like I said, the more you go towards this particular goal and the more challenges that come up in your way is going to force you to become a little bit more confident in yourself. So how I see my pile number 2 evolving is you guys are changing the way you view yourself. You're changing the way you view the circumstances. You're realizing you do know how to get to where you need to go. Trust yourself. And it's like you guys are, like I said, you're evolving mentally, you're up leveling mentally how you are perceiving an outcome or a situation, and you're learning to be a little bit more flexible instead of rigid on a particular way that things have to be. So perhaps in the past you would have goals, pile number 2, and then if it didn't pan out the way you wanted, you would just give up. And instead now it's almost like you're learning, just because it didn't go the way I wanted it to doesn't mean that it still can't be a better outcome, if not just as good as how I was hoping it to be. So it's like you guys are starting to learn to have that resilience and not to give up on yourself and not to give up on your projects or the people or circumstances. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's building up that confidence, it's building up your resilience, and it's teaching you guys to be more patient, be more loving towards yourself. And I feel like for a lot of my pile number 2s, you guys have a lot of ambition and a lot of goals. And I feel like you guys are, like I said, are more than capable of actually achieving these goals. It's just going to require you guys to have a little bit more trust and patience in yourself, and not just to give other people are gonna perhaps not notice or see you in the way that you see yourself. So you're just having to have trust that you will always know what is best for you. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, like I said, right now, currently, you guys might be in that crossroads, but I feel like for my pile number 2s, you guys have your head on straight. You guys are going to be evolving, and you're going to be changing the way that your world is going to be. So I feel like you guys are making choices and circumstances now that are going to benefit you in the long run, instead of that gratitude, that short gratification. So I feel like that is what I have for my pile number 2. Hopefully this makes sense for you guys. Thank you guys so much. I hope you have a great and wonderful day, pile number 2. Thank you. Bye. All right, pile number 3. How is that you guys are evolving and changing? You guys chose the Morgan Greer deck, or the cellulite. Wow, could not talk. Or the cellulite pile. So let's see, let's shuffle and see what is it that my pile number 3s are changing and evolving into at this time. All right, pile number 3. So how are you guys changing and evolving? So we have here the Queen of Pentacles, the 4 of Swords, the 6 of Cups, the 8 of Staffs, the 4 of Staffs, or Wands, the World, the Sun, and the Queen of Rods, and then we have the 9 of Rods. So for my pile number 3, how I feel like you guys are changing and evolving, I feel like for a lot of you guys, for this pile, I am getting that a lot of you guys might have, at least you are okay materialistically speaking. Maybe a lot of you guys already have money or already have certain things in your life that you are satisfied with, or at least that's how other people around you see you, pile number 3. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have obtained quite a bit that you've wanted in your life. But what I am seeing here with that 4 of Swords is some of you guys are taking a pause because there is something in your childhood or something in your life that has happened in the past that you wished that you could go back and change. For some of you guys, I feel that there is something going on about it's really positive. Really, let's just say it like this. For the most part, I feel like this reading is already going to be very positive in how you've been evolving and changing, but I do feel like there is something that you kind of wish that you could have corrected or changed, or like I said, there's just something in your past that maybe you keep referring to or thinking back on that has bugged you. And I feel for some of you guys, you are in the process right now of wanting to change that so that you can build a better foundation for yourself. I feel for a lot of you guys, some of the things that is changing and evolving in your life is how you maneuver around in the world and how you perceive the world. Some of you guys, you are learning to find happiness inside of yourself, but also one of the things that I'm really getting for you guys is there is something that it's like life is sweet, but there can be something that can make it a little bit sweeter for you. For my pile, I feel like some of you guys, whatever this was in your past, because these are the only cards that are in the reverse, and these are also the only cards that really stick out to me because of the color schemes. If you can tell, they're basically the same kind of color scheme as well. So I feel like there's something in your past that is kind of keeping you guys from truly reaching your full potential. And for some of you guys, this is something in your past that could stop you from maybe perhaps really getting to the bottom of things. I feel like something in your past could have caused a tower moment, or you're just realizing that whatever this is in your past, it's kind of keeping you from really going after certain things that you want in your life. So for some of you guys, this has inhibited you in seeing yourself in a better light. It's almost like there's a blind spot that you have, pile number 3, that maybe you are not quite aware of, or perhaps you are aware of, but you don't know how to go about healing it. So it's kind of like this weird feeling of, well, my life is going great, things are going awesome, but this one point in time in my life has really impacted the way that it's almost like it's impacted your sense of self-worth and your sense of willpower. So some of you guys, maybe it has dampened your spirit. It has caused you guys to withdraw a little bit more. I'm not sure what this incident is for you, but I am getting that it definitely impacted the way that you have perceived yourself in life. So I feel like for my pile number 3s, you guys are in this process now of really reevaluating what is your values and your circumstances. So perhaps I get the feeling that for some of you guys, you've had a set or a goal, and it's like, I feel like you guys maybe have already achieved this goal, or there's something that you have overcome or have achieved. And now you're like, wow, it didn't really fulfill me in the way that I thought it would. It's almost like, again, there's like something missing in your life. And it's something to do with this past event that has caused you guys to question yourself a little bit. Because maybe you thought that you wanted this, or you thought that this was going to bring you some form of happiness. And when you obtained it, you come to that realization like, oh, wow, I didn't actually get what I wanted. I didn't actually get I didn't get to attain exactly what I thought I was going to get. So it's really forced you guys to really have to see yourself and to change how you perceive the circumstances in your life. So I feel like for my pile number 3, how are you evolving? Is you're evolving in how you see yourself, in not so much how other people perceive you. Some of you guys I am getting is maybe you cared a lot about your reputation. Maybe you cared about how people perceived you. I feel like a lot of you guys are kind of like done that, been there kind of pile. I don't know why, I'm just really getting that. So if this isn't, say, your energy, then maybe pick a different pile. But I am really getting that for whoever has chosen pile number 3. You guys have already accomplished a lot in your life, or you're at a decent point in your life. And I'd say that you're very happy for the most part, but there's just this sense of missing something. And I feel like it's something to do with something in your childhood that maybe you were discouraged of being or having, or I'm also getting the feeling of maybe at one point in your childhood, maybe somebody said that you're just a lot or that you're too much on one thing. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have this a lot of joy, and I feel like you were just always a very happy child maybe growing up, and maybe people around you didn't like that. And I'm also just kind of getting to that it's almost like maybe you were measured by how much you accomplished. So a lot of you guys went out and accomplished a lot, or would go out and strive to do more to prove that you were worthy of love. And I feel like what is missing is that that validation, that need of you are important. And I feel like you never really got that recognition, even when you became successful, or even if you gained certain things. There is this part of you that's like, man, I just feel like I'm not getting the validation or being truly seen for myself. And it's almost like you draw people into your life that just want to use you or take from you because they see that light, they see that you have a lot of prosperity, or that you're just well established in certain areas. And so maybe you're around a lot of jealous people, or people that are envious of you, pile number 3. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, this has just been a very difficult phase in your life, because even though, say, you have the stability, say that on the outside you look so good and you look happy, and perhaps you are, there's still, like I said, there is this part of you that just, it's like you've watered your parts of yourself down. And I feel like you have this flame, you have this go-getter attitude, you have so much going for you, pile number 3, but maybe you dull it down, or there's this light inside of you that you dim because you don't want everyone around you to see it, because I feel like you were ridiculed at a young age for it, or that you were just made fun of for having it. And I feel like because of that, it has really caused a lot of you guys to kind of like, yeah, you're successful, or yeah, you have all of these different things. Like I said, you look really good on the outside. I think a lot of you guys take good care of yourselves. Maybe you have, like I said, the car or the family or whatever. Like your life just looks so well put together. But there's this part of you that feels like you're not really being yourself. You're not really shining through. And it's because it's almost like you've dimmed these aspects of yourself down so that you would be accepted from other people. And I feel like for my pile number 3, what you're evolving is no longer, stifling that light, no longer trying to put it out to make other people comfortable. I feel like for this pile, a lot of you guys, you could be like the best person when you go into your house, right? Say, as obviously everybody's going to be a little different, but I feel like you guys have a very particular style, or like I said, you guys just look really well put together. And then when people come into your house, they might see that. Like it might smell good, it might look good. You might have, your house might be cleaned. The way it's decorated is very tasteful, very like you have a certain way of doing things, and people around you, they like that. And I feel like a lot of you guys are very like when people come into your house, you're like, oh, can I get you a drink? Can I do this for you? Like you're very contentive, I feel like, in that regard. But there's a part of you that doesn't really want to be like that anymore. Does that make sense? Like the part of you that, for this pile, I just feel like you might have a little bit of that people-pleasing mentality, where maybe you always put other people ahead of you, or you always try to make other people around you more comfortable. Because I feel like there's some part of you in your childhood here, pile number 3, that you felt like was not lovable, or you felt like was too much for most people. And so you dulled it down because you really wanted to be accepted by everyone. And I think that what you're coming to the realization, pile number 3, is that even if you have everything you want, there's always going to be haters. There's always going to be people that don't like you or don't care about you. There's always going to be people that are always going to have an issue with you. So it's almost like you're kind of coming to that decision where you're like, well, then what's the point of dimming myself down? Because I feel like for a lot of you guys, like I said, you are very accomplished. You have a lot going for you. You have maybe the home, the family, the career. But again, there's this sense of, I really want to be happy and I really want to be able to be more authentically myself. So I feel like you guys are really pushing yourselves to becoming and evolving into this part of yourself. So it's almost like getting over the idea of being too much, or maybe, like I said, just stepping out of like, what are people going to think about me? Because I feel like growing up in your childhood, I feel like maybe you guys didn't have much of a childhood. Like, you were the responsible one. You had to take care of your siblings or your parents, or like you just didn't have much of a childhood. So when you got to an adult, maybe you just kind of, like I said, you just have this image of just almost being too perfect, or almost needing to accomplish something, like you needing to prove your worth and your love to be lovable. But you are so lovable as you are that you don't need to dim down those parts of you, because I feel like maybe when you were younger, maybe you couldn't voice or say certain things, and now it's kind of coming through as, it's almost like coming through as you trying to control yourself or control the circumstances around you. And you're learning that it's okay, that you don't have to always guard yourself. Because I feel like for some of you guys, this is really what it feels like here, is you have held back a part of yourself because you feel like it's too much for people to handle with that tower. And that's causing you misalignment. It's causing you unhappiness because you're afraid of the outcome, because you don't know what the outcome is going to be. Because if you showed this part of yourself, people might not like that. And I feel like you're afraid of disappointing people. And so a part of you wants to leave behind your own truth, if this makes sense. Because I feel like for a lot of you guys, again, it's like you have so much more potential than what you already have. And maybe, like I said, for this pile, maybe you already have a lot going for you. And so you feel kind of weird about, like, well, if I achieve too much, or if I do too much, then I'm going to upset people. Or if I say the wrong things, or if I voice my opinion, or if I do certain things, it's going to upset people. And it's like you're having to step out of that mentality of, everyone's going to have their own opinion. Nobody's going to be happy. It's almost like you can never make everybody happy. So you're learning to just do what you want to do and not worry about other people. So let's pull here the Wisdom of Oracle deck just to kind of see where you guys are. How is my pile number 3 evolving? So with that cellulite, I feel like a lot of you guys, you're cleansing parts of yourself right now. You are allowing parts of yourself to shine through. And, this is like pure light, frozen, right? It's like frozen pure light. It is a very cleansing, very cleansing. It cleanses decks, it cleanses crystals, it cleanses the air and the energy around you. It's a very healing stone. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's like you're needing to clean house. You're needing to clean the stuff that just isn't working for you anymore. And it's okay to evolve, because I feel like for this pile, you guys have really, pile number 3, you've really evolved, okay? You have really shifted. You have really changed. And because of that, you have just became so miraculous and so amazing. And I feel like you guys have been so, like, you've helped a lot of people. And I don't know if you guys have accomplished a whole lot, but in a lot of people's eyes, they kind of hold you to high regard. And I feel like that's a lot of pressure that you might be experiencing, like when it comes to friends and family. Like maybe a lot of people rely on you. Maybe you feel like you're kind of the glue that holds everything together, but you're learning to need to just take care of yourself here, pile number 3. I feel like for a lot of you guys, you've been, like I said, watering down parts of who you are due to whatever circumstance happened in your childhood, and you're learning to evolve out of that. Because the truth is, pile number 3, is you're not too much, especially for the right type of people. And I feel like you guys are really going to shift out of feeling like you are. So we have to be fair. So I feel like pile number 3, you have tried to be fair with people. And I'm also getting this too, like I said, a little bit of that people pleasing. You try to be fair. You try to be there for other people. But I'm getting that now is the time to be fair to yourself. And if you don't want to do certain things, then it's okay to not have to do it. I feel like you guys have a lot of burden and have a lot on your plate, and it's okay to ask other people for help, and it's okay to delegate certain responsibilities on other people, and it's okay to take time out too. Do what is best for you guys, because what I feel like, pile number 3, is I feel like you guys are like Superman or Superwoman, right? You just constantly go, go, go. And I feel like you guys have a lot of responsibilities. And like I said, maybe you've had that throughout your whole life, but now it's time to have fun, and now it's time to let loose. And I feel like that is something that you're going to be evolving into, is learning to have more fun and not take life as seriously as you have up until this point. So learning to be a little bit more fair with yourself. We have Treasure Island. And that's the thing, is I feel like for a lot of you guys, a lot of people might see you as very abundant, and you might be seeing yourself as very abundant. I feel like in a lot of ways you guys have had because of your hard work, and because you've had a lot of expectations put on you at a young age, a lot of you guys might actually be very successful. And like I said, I feel like a lot of people have their eyes on you, pile number 3. You are in the public eye, or again, very positive though. I feel like you guys might help a lot of people out. There's a job, there's something that you do enjoy, and I feel like you have a lot of enjoyment, but there is a side of you that wants to be a little reckless, that wants to play, that wants to enjoy themselves. And I feel like you guys are starting to learn to let a part of that go, where you can unleash a little bit of yourself in that way. Because I feel like a lot of you guys, you come off as this Queen of Pentacles, but really there's a part of you that wants to be that Queen of Rods, but maybe it's coming out in the shadowy form because you're suppressing that part of you. But that's the part of you that is alive. That's the part of you that likes to joke, that likes to have fun, that likes to play, that likes to let loose, that wants to be the life of the party. And maybe you have the demeanor of being a little bit more strict. And like I said, you kind of douse it. Like maybe you throw, it's almost like you throw earth on the fire, right? You're trying to burn it out and smother it, when really in reality, you need to let it out. You need to have fun. You need to enjoy yourself. You need to express who you are in that regard. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, like I said, a lot of expectations have been put onto you at a very young age. And it's like when you learn to tap into that more playful, more enjoyable side of yourself, where you have the ability to be a little bit more reckless, have a little bit more fun, and you can do it in a controlled way. But letting if you feel like you want to go out and have ice cream, or go out and do certain things like you would as a child, because I feel like for some of you guys, what you're working through right now is healing that inner child and giving yourself that permission to just do certain things, like take a day off for yourself and go have fun. It's like there's certain hobbies or certain things that you used to do, that you used to enjoy doing, that you need to implicate back into your life. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, that is what is happening for you ever so slowly, is that you have gotten to this point in your life, pile number 3, that maybe you've already done a lot of stuff and you've enjoyed your life, you're enjoying your life. Like I said, I don't feel like it's anything negative, but you're having to learn to let loose a little bit more. You're having to learn to have a little bit more fun and not be so afraid of how other people will perceive you. We have happy. So for a lot of you guys, like I said, you are starting to find more happiness in the littlest things in life. For a lot of you guys, perhaps you think, oh, if I do this, this will make me happy. If I do that, that will make me happy. And maybe as you go throughout life and you accomplished a lot more, you realize oh, this makes me happy, but it didn't bring me the fulfillment that I want. And it's because there is this part of you deep down inside, pile number 3, that wants to be seen, that wants to be heard. And I feel like the second that you allow that part of yourself out to have more fun, to be more playful, then more abundance will come into your life, more happiness is going to come into your life, and you're going to have a better life. Because the truth of it is, pile number 3, is I feel like you guys have a great life so far. I feel like this is a pile that really enjoys their life, that really loves their life, but deep down you could have a little bit more enjoyment. You can have a little bit more fun. And don't let other people guilt trip you. Don't let other people tell you that you don't deserve any more than what you have. Because for some of you guys, maybe too, we stifle our happiness because we look at other people and we're like, well, I already have a house. I already have a car I need. I already have the family I want. I should just be grateful for what I have. And it's like we limit ourselves to enjoy the next level of life. And I feel like for my pile number 3, you guys are at this point where you're going to enjoy the next level of your life, and you deserve to have that next level, and you deserve to be happy. So it's like, don't stifle yourself. Express your desires to those around you. Do what you know is best for you, because I feel like pile number 3, you guys are going to become a lot happier, a lot more fulfilled, but it's going to require you guys to be a little bit more honest with yourself. And again, it's this need, it's like this part of you that feels like you have to be one way in order to be respected or to be seen or to be heard. But in actuality, it's okay to have a little bit of fun. It's okay to let loose. It's not going to destroy your reputation. It's not going to destroy who you are and and what you've built up by taking time off to have more fun, by taking time off to see yourself in a better light. So I feel like for my pile number 3s, you guys are evolving and changing, and I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to find greater happiness and greater fulfillment than you already have. And I feel for a lot of you, even though a lot of these cards are very positive, I still feel like you guys might still have your own stresses, and maybe you just don't really voice that out to a lot of people, because maybe when I feel like for a lot of you guys, if you have, like, say for instance, anxiety or depression or something, if you ever voice that to other people, they might be really shocked and surprised, because I feel like a lot of you guys, you have this really retained and refined image that you show the world. And I feel like a lot of the time, some people might not even see you as human, because you just seem so happy all the time. You seem like life is going so good for you. And it's okay to have bad days, and it's okay to express those days. But I feel like for a lot of my pile number 3, what you're evolving into is you're evolving into a better state and a more peaceful state of mind. You don't want people to hold you back. You don't want to feel held back. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's trusting that it's okay to let loose and to be a little bit happier. I feel like for some of you guys, with that thinker card, I feel like some of you, maybe you overthink a lot, or you think about all of the outcomes. And with the Queen of Rods, she is very strategic, she is very fun, she is very intuitive, and perhaps you are a little bit more logical, pile number 3, and it's almost like how you are evolving is you are slowly going into more of your gut reaction. You are starting to trust your instincts more. You're starting to trust your the messages that you're receiving on an intuitive level. You guys are starting to evolve a little bit more spiritually. And with that sunflower, it's like, again, and anytime I think of sunflowers, I think of happiness. And again, we have sunflowers here. So happiness, evolving. You guys are really, truly becoming happier and better and stronger, but you're needing to trust yourself a little bit more. Because I feel like for some of you guys, say like, again, you got where you are by thinking, by being more logical, by maybe perhaps being more consistent. And now is the time to maybe do things in an unorthodox way, maybe doing things in a more, not a reckless way, but in a way that maybe doesn't make sense to yourself or other people. I feel like some of you guys have an internal nudge to go do something, and you don't know why or how it's going to benefit you, and you don't see the benefit of doing that. But now it's the time to do that, just to have fun, just let loose. So if you guys have like an idea and you're like, oh, I don't know if I should do this idea, why? It's like, I feel like this is my very productive pile. You guys do things that make sense to you. And it's like you guys are now having to learn to trust yourself a little bit more, and trust that you have the ability to, it's almost like, okay, so for instance, maybe growing up you had an imagination and you had a lot of creativity, and maybe you had a parent or somebody that could have stifled that creativity. And with that Queen of Rods, the Queen of Rods is very creative. very passionate about the things that they do. And I feel like for some of you guys, for my pile number 3, maybe you've lost a little bit of that passion, or you lost a little bit of that creativity. And I feel like that is what you are starting to gain back, and that is how you guys are starting to evolve. Because once you start to evolve and allow yourself to be a little bit more creative, and allow yourself to be a little bit more passionate, and it's like sometimes for some of you guys, it's like going on a vacation or just going into different places that you've never been before is going to spark back up that creativity and that passion in yourself. And it's going to bring you guys much more rewards. A lot more is going to come your way. And I feel like things that maybe in your life that aren't going as planned or isn't going in the way you wanted to is going to balance itself out. Because I feel like a lot of you guys are in that process of taking in and reevaluating stuff. And like I said, you guys could have been a little bit more logical in the way that you approach life. But now you guys are starting to learn that it's okay to be creative. It's okay to not do things by the book. It's okay to not be so logical all the time. Because we have both that emotional, like creative side, and the logical and the more goal-oriented, right? So I feel like some of you guys, how you guys are evolving is you guys are starting to shift back into that more feminine energy, that more feminine flow. And you guys are starting to also see that there's a lot of things that you can do that's going to make you have more fun and have happier times. Because I feel like for some of you guys, maybe you've put a lot of work and effort into your life, and now my pile number 3, I feel like it's time for you guys to be a little bit more playful and to let loose a little bit more. And that's how I'm seeing you guys evolving, is letting loose and being a little bit more playful. So let's pull the Chakra Insight Oracle. See what exactly is my pile number 3's evolving into. What is it that they've been healing, working through? Your guys' reading is definitely different than the last 2. I feel like you guys, it's almost like there's not much I need to really say to you guys. I feel like my pile number 3 has a lot more together. I just think that what's going on for you guys is just having more fun, you know? As simple as that. I think that's just why you guys are evolving. It's just you're having more fun. Okay. So your guys' money is what is improving. I feel like a lot of you guys, especially the more you let loose and have fun, it's like you don't, it's like the whole it's like work smarter, not harder. And that's kind of what I'm getting for you guys, is with that finances and the power, the generosity, the abundance. It's like you guys are going to have a lot of money coming in. And that is something that is evolving, because I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're going to be able to help a lot more people. You're going to be able to be happier with the money that you have. You're going to be able to do more and have more, and you're going to just start seeing good things, because I feel like for a lot of you guys, you have earned this. You have worked very hard to obtain this. So now it's time to have fun. It's time to enjoy it. It's time to have good. And what was I saying? The Queen of Rods, the intuitive side. You guys are going to start evolving in your intuition. You guys are going to think a little less, because I feel like for some of you guys, like with that thinker at the bottom of the deck, I feel like you guys have a tendency of overthinking a little bit too much at times, and it's almost like you're now balancing that out with your intuitive side, or trust, insight, awareness, and guidance. It's like you are almost trusting your guidance system, where you need to go and what you need to do. We also have here that solar plexus, and you know, it's kind of interesting, because that's kind of how I view the King and Queen of Rods, is that solar plexus. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, it's almost as though you guys are changing, you guys are inserting yourself a little bit more in life as well. You guys are starting to say, this is what I want, this is what I need, this is my goals. It's like you guys are kind of shifting out of maybe being, because like what I'm saying is I feel like a lot of you guys are successful, and a lot of you guys maybe do have a lot going for you, but there is this part of you, like I said, that you kind of held back because maybe you were afraid that you were just too much for people, and now you're realizing that you're not. Now you're realizing that you are a lot more suitable, that you're a lot better than what you were originally. And so I feel like for my pile number 3s, you guys are really shifting and changing how you view yourself. We also have here the third eye. We have here the third eye. So I feel like a lot of you guys are really changing. Like I said, my goodness. And then at the bottom of the deck too, you have the throat chakra. So I'm getting that a lot of you guys, it's like these are the 3 that you've been really working on and really evolving. It's almost as though you're setting goals, you're going after what it is you want, you're not afraid to insert yourself a little bit more in the world, but you're listening to your intuition, you're starting to open up your third eye, you're starting to see things a little bit differently than maybe perhaps you once did. I feel like some of you guys maybe got caught up in a story or a misbelief that you have about yourself, and now it's almost as though you guys are finally evolving and changing out of that. And then we have the throat chakra. So I feel like a lot of you guys are voicing your opinions, you're speaking the truth a little bit more. I feel like for some of you guys, pile number 3, maybe at one point you would sugarcoat things, or you would be afraid to say or speak your mind because you were afraid of how it was going to come off to other people. And now you're kind of being a little less apologetic for that. I feel like you guys are starting to say, this is my values, these are my boundaries. And it's almost like you're realizing a lot more, like you're trusting yourself more, you're giving yourself that permission more. And with that throat chakra, it's like you guys are learning to set those boundaries, speak that into existence. You guys are really evolving and you're really growing and changing, and I feel like you're really grounding yourself. So pile number 3, I feel like out of all the piles, you are the one that has more of your like, your shiz together. You guys are a lot more grounded in yourself, but you are still evolving. And I feel like a lot of you guys, it has a lot to do with your finances as well, and a lot to just do with how you come across. So perhaps if, say for instance, if you're a manager or a entrepreneur, so like you're a boss or something, I feel like for some of you guys, like I said, you have a lot of responsibilities on your shoulders or have a lot of people that you're dealing with. I feel like a lot of you guys are being more open and honest and inserting yourself more. And again, I feel like for a lot of you guys, you're learning to kind of just go with the flow a little bit more. You're learning to be a little bit more playful. You're really evolving into yourself a little more. And each day, it's almost as if it's getting a little bit easier for you. And you're going to start to see things start to change and shift in your reality. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, things that you felt were wrong in your life is starting to shift the balance, and you're going to start to see that things are going to start going more in your favor. Good fortune is on its way. This is a very, very positive reading, you guys. I'm really excited to end the readings with this pile. I feel like for a lot of you guys, maybe you want to sage your house or cleanse yourself, maybe pick up the stone. I feel like for some of you guys, you're letting go of any residual negative energies that you're feeling in your everyday life. I feel like for some of you guys, it's like just things that were cluttering or taking up your time is starting to clear away. So I feel like you guys are really evolving into a happier version of yourself. You're really evolving into a more intuitive person where you're starting to trust yourself more. You're starting to be able to read energies easier. You guys are starting to set better boundaries for yourself and others around you. You guys are starting to see past the illusions of things. And I also feel like you guys are being a little bit more assertive on how you're communicating, when perhaps before maybe you were a little unclear, or maybe you were afraid to fully set those boundaries. Maybe you were a little bit afraid of how you came across to people. You were more worried about how people felt than how the message was delivered. And so now it's almost like you're realizing if people get offended, people get offended. And it's like you guys are just starting to step back and step more into your power. And I feel like for a lot of you guys are no longer dousing that part of yourself. You're no longer holding yourself back. Because a part of you, I felt like for my pile number 3, there was a part of you that you felt like was either too much for people or just wasn't enough or wasn't lovable. And it's almost like you've been integrating that side of yourself to the point where now it is kind of becoming more of who you are instead of an aspect that you've rejected or abandoned. And I feel like you're integrating that back into your life. And so you're going to start seeing things moving a little bit more smoother in life. Life is going to get a little bit more blissful in a way. You're not going to have as many stresses. You're going to be able to have time to really enjoy yourself. So I feel like for a lot of you guys, this is the season for you guys to reap rewards. It's like this is your guys's summertime now. It's like you guys get to reap the rewards, have fun, play in the sunshine, get to go do the things you want to do. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, you are really starting to not only become stronger in yourself, but you're also going to be able to trust yourself and trust the decisions that you're making. And I feel like you guys are starting to clear away that overthinking and clearing away some of these parts of yourself that you felt like was holding you back from really truly becoming more successful. And it's like you are letting go of any limiting beliefs that's keeping you from really evolving past, because I feel like a lot of you guys, like I said, you deserve the best in life, and I feel like you guys deserve to be happier than what you already are. So I feel like with this pile, I just want to say congratulations, because I feel like a lot of you guys have done a lot of work. You guys have put in a lot of effort, and I feel like things are paying off for you guys. So let's pull the last cards here, the Power of Love for my pile number 3s. Seriously though, I almost feel like this pile was just a very chillax pile. I feel like there really isn't a whole lot that really needed to be said here, because I just feel like you guys are just really evolving, and it's almost like you guys know what you want and know what you need. So we have here trust. You have a strong connection to your soul's loving voice and have faith in your intuition. See, yeah, your intuition, this is what I'm saying, this is what's evolving for you guys, is trusting yourself more. And because you're trusting yourself more, it's going to lead you down the path of more prosperity. Like I'm telling you, like the more you guys have trust and faith in yourself, it's almost like the universe is just going to keep bringing you more and more things to be happy about and more things to be abundant for. We have expression. You are ready to manifest your thoughts and transform them into acts of love. Yeah, I feel like you guys are going to be a lot more generous with your time, your money, and your energy, because you're going to have so much love that's overflowing. I feel like this pile number 3, I feel like you guys have been on a love journey, like self-love journey, for a very long time, and you've really been integrating and doing the shadow work for a really long time, and because of that you guys have been reaping a lot more rewards. And I feel like you guys are shifting out of a cycle that is, it's like a blah, or it's like life has just kind of been the same, and it's going to start shaking things up, and you're going to be able to have more fun and be more expressive. So we also have here acceptance. You are ready to release control of situations or people and lovingly embrace the rhythm of life. Yeah, I feel like a lot of you guys are just accepting yourself, accepting those around you. And not only that, but I feel like you guys are starting to realize that you don't need to control every little thing. Because maybe perhaps in the past, pile number 3, you guys could have been very controlling about certain circumstances or certain things. And now you're coming to that realization like, oh, I don't have to be like that anymore. I have what it takes. I have the ability to just be who I want to be. And because of that, you guys have really evolved and really grown and changed. So it's really beautiful, pile number 3. At the bottom, we also have release. You have the ability to give over unwanted energies to the loving forces of the universe. Yeah, I feel like you guys are releasing, like I said, any residual negative energy that's just been lingering around you. I feel like for some of you guys, you are just letting go of negative thinking, negative thoughts, negative patterns, and you're really just trusting yourself. You're really just allowing the universe to do its magic, and you're trusting that no matter what happens, you're going to be fine. And I feel like for a lot of you guys, because you've just been working on yourself for so long, and you guys have just been grinding away, putting in the efforts, putting in the work. Life is only going to reward you tenfold, because I feel like you guys have just been really working really hard. And it's almost like everything around you is going to start reflecting for you in the external world. Everything is going to start being a little bit better for you. Life is going to be a lot more free, a lot funner. You guys are just not going to have to deal with all of the stress. And I mean, you're still going to have stress and you're still going to have worries from time to time, but your life is going to be a lot easier for now. Like, you're just enjoying your life. Things are going to start kind of, like I said, money's going to be trickling in. You're going to start noticing that you're going to be like, ooh, I feel like I want to go to this place today. I don't know why, but I feel like I'm going to go do that. And you're going to go there and you're going to meet somebody that is going to be perfect for you, or you're going to meet friends there. It's going to be just beneficial for you in the long run. Like, positive things are shifting and changing in my pile number 3's life. And I feel like it's, like I said, this is probably by far the most positive pile. And I'm really excited for my pile number 3's, because I feel like you guys have really worked hard. You've really put in the hours, and I feel like you guys really deserve it. So I'm really happy for my pile number 3's. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. I hope you guys have a great and wonderful day. Thank you so much, pile 3. Bye.